Most agents won't do this because they're scared of rejection, and that's why it works. So you're looking to list and close your first property. This is the first video in a 4-part series where I'll be guiding you through the entire process, all the way up from securing a listing, all the way up to closing the deal. And in this video, we'll be going over phase 1 with 5 different steps, and the first step being, how do you find clients? Now, there are many different ways for you to find clients. You could find them through cold calling, buying leads online, or through any type of marketing. But in this video, we'll be going over door knocking because that is the one that I prefer and the one that I do the most. And in this video, we'll be covering how to door knock and potentially get a listing. So now let's get into step 2 of phase 1, which is actually preparing your materials. And I just want to tell you about a mistake I made early on in my career and one that I'll never forget. So this was one of the first times that I went door knocking. I believe this was after the rough conversation I had where they asked me about a home. I didn't really know anything about it. And so I realized from that I need to know my market. And so I ended up taking the time to learn the market of this area. And one morning I woke up, I was like, you know what, today is the day I'm gonna go door knocking. I ended up going door knocking. And so I was pumped, I was ready to go. I had my script down, I was ready to go. On the way there, I was listening to music. I was hyping myself up, getting ready to go through my day of door knocking. You know how it is. Anyways, I went into the door, I knocked on the door, somebody answered, I went through the script, and to my surprise, they were actually interested. They wanted to list their home and they didn't have an agent yet. And so the whole process saying, oh, well, this is who I work for, this is what I do, and from what I've seen from the recent market analysis within this area, this is how much homes are going for. And if you want, I can come inside and take a look. And before anything could happen, before they could invite me in, they asked me, oh, do you have a card? And I hit the whole motion, checking my whole body, like, okay, I should have a card somewhere here. And then it hit me. I left all my cards back at home. I didn't have no market analysis sheet. I didn't have no business cards on me. I didn't have anything on me to show them like that I was legit and that I was serious and that I'm actually an agent for the area. And so what I ended up doing was like, I don't have it on me right now, but I will take down your number and I'll shoot you a text and we can just keep in contact through there. I'll write you an email, whatever works for you guys. And of course they hit me with the, yeah, that sounds great. Like, we'll give you our information. And to no surprise, they never responded. So that's why it's very important to always have materials with you. And so now what I do when I go door knocking, I always make sure that I have a sheet like this. It's kind of like a little packet. So the sheet would go, a sheet saying, buying or selling a home, let's work together. And I care more about building connections than a sale. And then this, which is like recent homes that sold in their area. And I'll actually put that behind this. And then I'll use one of my business cards. And then I'll put it up here, somewhere through there. And then I don't have any MLS sheets with me right now, but I'll usually print out an MLS sheet of recent homes. That way they could like kind of see what's going on and how much houses are selling for and all that good stuff. And I'll put that behind this packet. And then what I'll do is I'll staple it. So that way, once this is all nice and neat, you staple it together. And guess what? It has all your information. It has all the information that you want them to see so they can make a decision. And guess what? Whenever they're ready, they see your face right here. I even have a QR code that goes back to all my socials and all my stuff. And then I also have the business card here. So if they did want to see like my email, my phone number, whatever it is they need, it's on here. So yeah, just always make sure you're prepared and that you always have your stuff, because you never know what could happen. Maybe somebody would be ready to list within the first 10 houses you knock, but if you're not prepared and you don't have the materials, then you kind of played yourself and you're gonna get stuck in a sticky situation and you're gonna have a rough conversation, or you're just setting yourself for failure and they'll just take down the information and that's it. They won't ever reach out, or if you reach out, they'll just ignore you. So just make sure you're prepared. Just be prepared. Okay, so now we're gonna get into step 3 of phase 1, which is having a script. So this is arguably the most crucial step in this whole video. So I really need you to pay attention and lock into what I'm about to say. If you want, scoot in a little closer. Okay, you come a little closer. All right, a little closer. Okay, not that close. Back up. You have to back up a little bit. All right, so listen. I need you to tunnel vision right here. The most crucial piece of all of this is you have to have a script. And you also have to remember, your goal is not to hard sell. You're not trying to get them to sell in that very moment. You're just trying to provide insight for them. You're just trying to help them out. You're trying to just start a conversation. Just start a conversation and let the conversation flow. Don't worry about trying to sell in that very moment. Worry about trying to get the contact information and trying to get them in your pipeline, because maybe they might not be ready right now, but who knows, maybe in like 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, somewhere down the line, they'll be ready to sell. And if you have them in your pipeline and you're reaching out to them every so often, then they're gonna remember, okay, yeah, I remember meeting this guy. Okay, he texts me all the time, you know, we have conversations all the time, whatever. I want him to sell my home because he seems like the most friendliest, and I feel like I know him because I'm always seeing him around. He's always sending me emails, and that's great for you because you're getting leads and you're building your own pipeline and everything's organic. So you're not out there paying for leads, you're working for it. And just to go off that, you could find like a million different types of scripts on YouTube, and you could just end up taking them apart, seeing which one you like the most, and just end up mixing them together and building your own script as well. And so the script that like I've been using is knock, 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 dance to the door, be like, hey, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm doing okay, how are you doing? I'm doing good. Well, the reason for my knock is I'm Randy Cortez, I'm with Urban Core Realty, and I'm just walking around the neighborhood trying to talk with some of the neighbors and seeing if there's any services I could provide for you. I am a realtor, and these are the homes that's been selling in the neighborhood, and I'll probably show them like the MLS sheet, and then they'll go, oh no, I'm not really interested in selling my house or whatever. And that's when you go, oh yeah, I mean, that's okay. Because, you know, nobody's really ready until like the moment they want to sell their house. And I'm not trying to get you to sell your house right now, but I just wanted to ask, if you were to make a real estate move, do you have somebody that will help you with that? Or do you have somebody that can show you everything that's going on in the market? And most of the times they're gonna tell you no. So just going off that, you tell them, okay, well, if you want, let me get your phone number, let me get your email, and I can end up sending you everything that's been going on in the market within the area. If that's okay with you, I mean, you're not obligated. I'm just trying to offer a service. It's of course it's free. Like, you don't have to worry about having to pay for anything. I'll just send you whatever happens. That way, like, you're informed. And so if one day you do want to sell your house or you do want to sell your property, then you already have an idea of what's going on. You already know, okay, this is how much we could maybe price for, or this property down the street from me sold for this much. Maybe my house might be somewhere near there. It just depends on the model of the home, the square foot, all that good stuff. If it has a pool, if it doesn't have a pool. But the point is, that's a script that I like to use, and it's gotten me success. Like, I have sheets with a bunch of phone numbers and emails, which I have in my pipeline and I've been reaching out to. I've been trying to get it to like once a week. So anywhere between like a once a week, twice a week period is how often I'm reaching out. And so with that, just, you can find a script anywhere, just make sure you have your own script. And on top of this, like, the most important thing if you want to be successful in door knocking is it has to sound natural. It cannot sound like a script. You want the conversation to be flowing at a natural pace. You don't want it to be robotic. You don't want it to be unorganic or unnatural. You want them to think like we're having a genuine conversation. Because if you're sitting there and it sounds like you're like, hi, my name is this and I'm this and I'm a realtor, are you looking to sell your home? You're not gonna have anybody to have a conversation with you, especially if you're stiff like this. You wanna be loose, you wanna be smiling, you wanna be energetic. You want them to feel like there's good energy surrounding you. So that way, like, they're enjoying the conversation and they don't feel like, oh my God, I'm having another conversation with some random person. You want them to feel that energy. You want them to feel like you are actually having a connection, and you don't want them to feel like, oh my God, I'm talking to some other person, like, just leave, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You want them to feel like, wow, this person's actually like really cool, they're really friendly, and you know what? I want to give them a chance. If I ever do need something, I know that I could reach out to them, because people buy from people they like, or people get business or give their business to people they like and they see as trustworthy and people that they would like to surround themselves with. So as long as you're giving off that good energy and you're making them feel like they have a connection to you, then you should expect something from them in the future. Well, we're not saying that every conversation is going to lead to something down the road, but you just want to make sure you're doing the best you can to give off good energy, to have a good conversation. And always remember, you're not trying to get a sale this very moment. You're just trying to give them some insight. You're trying to help them out now, so that way in the future, if they ever do need something, they know who they're going to reach out to. They're going to want to reach out to you because they remember your face, like, oh, this person was extremely friendly, I really want to work with them, they seem like a stand-up person, I want them to help me out with this. Okay, now we're stepping on to step 4 of phase 1, which is also a very important piece of door knocking, which is, when are you going door knocking? because I found myself door knocking one time in the middle of the afternoon and there was barely anybody home, or everybody was at work, or they were out or getting their kids. I don't know what they're doing, but people were out at that time and nobody was in their homes. So I kind of felt like I wasted a day in a sense. It just felt like the day was wasted, but I ended up learning from it and learning that there's times to go door knocking and times not to go door knocking. And so when would be the best time to door knock? Like, what is the sweet spot? On the weekdays, anywhere from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., you'll find a lot of people who are coming back from work, or they came back from picking their kids up from school or their activities. They're just gonna be home somewhere within that time frame. Now, on the weekends, you could get away with going a little earlier because it is a weekend, but there are some people that do work. So just know your demographic and just know whether if you're in a middle class neighborhood, if you're in an upper neighborhood, or you go in a lower neighborhood. You just have to know your demographic, you have to know your area, you have to know what type of workers are working where and where do they usually live. Because you might go to one area and you might find out that area people aren't home in the morning, and then you go to another one and it's a whole bunch of people who are at home. So it really just depends on where it is you're going. And so usually on the weekends, from what I've seen from the areas that I've been to, I'll go around probably like 10 o'clock-ish, anywhere from like 10 to, let's give it like 7 p.m. as well. Somewhere within that time frame, you'll usually find people at home. So that's the time that I went out, and that's the time that I would recommend if you decide to go door knocking on the weekend. And going back to the weekdays, you also want to make sure you're not going really late at night. Like, you don't want somebody showing up at your door at like 9 p.m. because you're going to be so defensive. You're like, dude, what are you doing? It's 9 p.m. Like, I'm getting ready to go to sleep. Like, I have work in the morning. Why are you here? You also don't want to be bothering people, because then their defense is going to be up. They're not going to want to have a conversation with you. They're just like, what are you here for? Oh, hey, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. Have a good day. And then just close the door and that's it. The conversation's over and you're like, what's going on? And it's also pitch black outside, or it would be pretty dark, and that could end up having its own issues. And now we're going to step into step 5 of phase 1, which is handling rejection. Let's be realistic. You're not going to convert every single door you knock on into your pipeline, or into a sale, or into a listing, or finding buyers that way. It doesn't always happen. There's a chance of it happening, but you always want to make sure that you're prepared for whatever happens, whether it is you find somebody who wants your help, or if you find somebody that doesn't want your help. Realistically, you're gonna find way more people who don't want your help than people who do want your help. And so you just have to prepare for that. And the way I think about it is, they're not rejecting me. They're just rejecting the service I'm offering them. So if somebody tells me, no, I'm not interested, I'm not looking for this, I don't need this, I tell them, okay, not everybody needs it, so can I still get your information? And if they say no, I'm like, okay, well, you have a great day. And I don't take offense to it, because they're not rejecting me as a person. They're just rejecting what I'm offering them, which is completely different. And even so, if somebody is nasty to me and they'll just say like, oh, get off my property, blah, 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 you just get off the property and walk away. Who cares? Like, you think I'm gonna ruin my whole day over one person telling me something silly like that? Like, that's the name of the game. You just have to keep going until you find something that works out. So now let's say you go out there, you have 5 doors slammed in your face, and then you have 90 people who are just like, you know what, here's my contact information, if anything, we'll let you know. And then you have 5 people who actually want to list their home. That's an amazing day. Those are amazing conversions. You just got 5 people who are ready to list their home with you, and then you have 90 people who gave you their information. Your pipeline should be living right now. You should be emailing them weekly or bi-weekly, and eventually they'll end up reaching out to you. And if not, no stress. You just go out another day and do the same thing, because you don't measure your success based on how many listings you have. You measure your success off what it is you're doing. So if you spend a day to go door knocking and you have a terrible day, you're doing way better than if you were at home doing nothing, just sitting there. So always go out there and keep trying, because you never know what could happen. Even if you get 1 listing out of like 200 doors, that's still great, because you ended up getting 1. So as long as you're getting something, like, that's what truly counts. It's what you do and what you get. So you just be happy you get 1, and you're still learning. So the more and more you keep doing it, the better you're gonna get at it. And the better you get at it, then the more listings you'll get, and so on and so forth. It doesn't even have to be listings. You could just talk to somebody, they go, oh, we're not looking to sell our home, but we do know somebody who's looking to move here. And then it works out that way too. You end up getting some buyers from that too. So just keep going and forget about the rejection. The rejection doesn't matter. The rejection is gonna be a byproduct of you trying. And you know what else is gonna be a byproduct of you trying? Success. You're gonna get success eventually. You're not gonna get it straight away. You're not gonna get it within the freaking first 500 doors you knock, but you know when you'll get it? Eventually. So just keep trying. You'll get it sooner than if you were sitting at home doing nothing or doing something else instead of trying and going out there and actually trying to do stuff and trying to actually do something with yourself. That door knocking is intimidating, but with the right preparations, and if you do everything that I said to do in this video, you'll be more than prepared to go out there and door knock and absolutely dominate area. So go out there and door knock until you can't. Subscribe and keep watching, because this is one video out of 4, which goes all the way from getting the listing until all the way to closing the listing. So you might want to stay tuned for that. And as always, I'm rooting for you, so go out there and conquer.